So now, we got really good at doing those tax questions when you're buying stuff, and you're got good at doing shortcuts. You can add those percentages together, right? But I also said, hey, there are some situations where you can't always add percentages. Like for example, we did this question here with the population of the geese, right? It went down by 5% the first year, and it went down by 10% the second year. And so you had to do the calculation one step at a time. How many geese were there left after the first year? How many geese were left after the second year? Because these amounts apply to different things. We're going to do another example like this, right? We have a scenario here of a store putting on a sale. All right. So we have Sports Check versus Sports Mart, I think. Here we have, right? So, Sports Mart, not as big as Sports Check, but if you go to the equipment center and some other Sports Marts there. So, you're looking to buy a helmet, right? The regular price of the helmet is $150. Okay? Then it says these are the two deals. Sports Mart is just having a one-day sale where they'll be taking 20% off the sale price. But Sports Check is having a two-day sale where the first day they take 10% off, and the second day on Saturday they take another 10% off. Okay, so like Sports Mart's pretty easy, 20% off. Sports Check is like one of those sales that you see. It's like these aren't the numbers, but it'll be like $199, then they cross it out, $147, cross it out, like one of those kind of sales. $27 final clearance kind of thing, right? So the price is always changing, right? So it looks like it should be the same deal. Sports Mart says 20% off, and Sports Check says 10 and 10, which looks like 20. It looks like it would be the same deal, but it isn't. And I'll explain how that works. Yes, Jace?
I have a question.
Yeah.
So, have you heard that like some places actually they leave the same like amount of the price, but they say it's a discount?
Yeah, and they get in trouble with that. There are people who investigate, and so that you can have sales and all that kind of stuff, but you can't be untruthful about it. So some people say, hey, it's a 10% off sale, and people actually investigate that and say, did the price actually go down by 10%, or did they just change the numbers around? Right?
Is it illegal?
I don't know exactly how it fits into the law, but they get fined and stuff like that. They were doing that for a while, like a decade ago.
Was it Walmart doing that?
I'm not sure. I know a lot of stores in the malls were doing
There
it.
are legal things where they can't have an item always on discount or sale. There has to be a period
Yeah.
where it's like offered at a non-sale price.
Yeah.
Whatever percentage of, ratio of
Yeah.
time that would be.
Yeah, and there's other companies too that do like I forget what it's called. Like it's a good buyers program or something like that, where sometimes you scan things and it's a different price than what was on the shelf, right? So like in a Superstore, they will always give you the lowest price if it misscans, or they'll give you the item for free, right? So that's not a law thing, but that's like a store policy to show like confidence in what they're doing, right? So there's some stores that do that kind of stuff as well. All right, let's look at this. Let's do Sports Mart first, right? So you're buying a $150 item. We're not doing anything with taxes. We're just looking at which one's cheaper, right? So looking at Sport Mart, right? So 20% off. You turn that into a decimal by moving it 2 spots to the right, so it ends up being 0.20 times 150. Can anybody do that calculation in their head?
2 times 15?
Yeah,
Should be able to.
I'm hoping. What is it, Drake?
2 times 15 is 30, so 300.
Not 300.
Or, wait, 30?
It would be 30, right? So 0.2 times 150, right? is 30. Right? Oh, remember the other way, the mental calculation? 10% would be 15, so 20% would be double that, would be 30, right? So if you're not even good at multiplying, you can always do 10. So is this saying the helmet is $30?
No.
This is how much it's off. So the helmet is 150 minus $30 is $120 at SportsMart. Okay. Now we're going to do a sports checks deal. Right? So we have sports check. Sports check. And on Friday, it goes on a 10% off. So 0.10 times 150. Right? We go like this. We go calculation in our head. What is that? How much money is that? 15. Thank you, Brady. So it's $15 off. So the price is 150 minus $15 off, right? And what does that become? Mental calculations. Can we do it? You can use your calculator if you want.
I have 135.
135. Now Saturday rolls around and we have another 10% off sale. That 10% off is not off of 150, but is off the new amount. So this is like, hey, they had a $150 original price. They crossed it off and they go 135, crossed it off. We're going to do another 10% off of 135. So we go on Saturday, it goes off another 10%. And you go 135 times 10%. Right? How much is that? Can we do that calculation in our head? 13.5, right? Move the decimal one spot, but we're talking about money. So 1350. Right? And then we go, okay. Then you go, the price of it's going to be $135 minus $13.50. That's a little bit trickier. We can use a calculator. Maybe you can do it in your head. All right, 135 minus $13.50 is $121.50. All right. So who gives the better deal? SportsMart, and you can get it a day earlier, right? SportsMart has the better deal. Okay. So now, not a part of this question, but maybe something that I can ask you, right? So, hoping that you can follow that logic, right? Why is this one the worst deal, right? Because we're taking that percentage of a smaller amount, right? The percentage is going off a smaller amount. So this 10% was off of 150. The second 10% off was only off of 135. So it's a little bit less of a discount. If they were both off of 150, then it would have worked out the same, right? So now, an add-on question, not on there. Well, what would, if Sports Check did a one-day sale, and they, for whatever reasons, they wanted to sell it for $21.50, what would the percentage off be for that? How do you figure that out? Because it's not 20% off. It's obviously less than 20% off. Because SportsMart sells it for 24% off, and it's $120. How do you figure out what percentage off was this actually? This is called the effective percentage. Because we took two percentages and we want to roll it into one percentage. If you were to do it in one calculation. All right? So let's sort of see if we can figure that out. So the original price was $150, all right? And they're selling it to you for $121.50. So we need to figure out how much money are they actually saving you? So you subtract those two things. You take our calculator, you go like this, you go 150 minus 121.50, and we get $28.50. That's how much money, and 50 cents. That's how much money they are willing to give it at a discount. All right? So what percentage is it? How do I calculate what percentage is $28.50 of the original price? How do I do that?
19.4.
How do we come up with that? All right?
That would be my estimate.
Yeah, that'd be your estimate.
Oh, like 19.4,
19%.
19%.
All right? Anybody have a guess? All right? So what we want to do is, with percentages, what is it out of? We're taking $28.50 off of $150. Right? That's the percentage we're trying to do. And you go, okay. We turn that into a decimal. 28.50 divided by 150. That's saying it's 0.19. So that's not a percentage. All right? And so we have to times it by 100 to get a percentage, right? So this is the same thing as saying times 100, 19% off. So SportsMart is giving you a 20% off, and Sports Check is giving you 19% off. 1 extra percent difference there. Does that make sense a little bit there? All right, so when we do the test next week, you guys are really good at this stuff. And this is the stuff I want you to be really good at too, because that's the more real life practical skills. You'll be able to, I'm gonna give you like 3 of these questions, and you have to do the taxes and calculate the total cost of stuff like that. You guys will do really good at that. But you'll go and not do so well on the day 2 stuff. And the day 2 stuff is like this stuff here. When I gave you a chart like this, and we had percent, and we had decimal, and we had fraction, and you had to convert between all 3 things, right? Remember that? You sort of, not really how to do it, but you sort of remember that chart. So that's going to be on the test as well, right? So you got the applications figured out. You were doing really good on that, but I'm guessing based on what I saw and heard with this one, you sort of forgot how to turn percentages to decimals and decimals to all the stuff converting all around. So we'll do more review on that next day. Okay? So today,